Welcome to our channel, where we explore controversial topics, unravel historical mysteries, and examine stories that have shaped humanity. Today, we're diving into a question that has sparked heated debates for centuries: who killed Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam? While revered as a religious figure, his death has remained a topic of speculation and controversy. Some interpretations point to poisoning, while others suggest natural causes. Let's unpack the evidence, sift through the theories, and try to understand the truth behind this significant moment in history. Muhammad, the founder of Islam, was born in 570 CE in Mecca. Over his lifetime, he transformed the Arabian Peninsula through his teachings, unifying tribes and laying the foundation for a major world religion. By the time of his death in 632 CE, Islam had established a strong foothold in the region. However, his rise wasn't without challenges. Conflicts, wars, and resistance from rival tribes often put him in danger. Understanding his life gives us context for his untimely death and the speculation surrounding it. Historical accounts reveal that Muhammad fell ill shortly after attending a feast in the city of Medina. The most detailed records from Islamic sources indicate he suffered from fever, severe headaches, and abdominal pain. The illness lasted for several days before his passing. What caused these symptoms? Some suggest it was due to poisoning, while others argue it was a natural death exacerbated by the toll of his demanding lifestyle. One of the most debated theories is that Muhammad was poisoned by a Jewish woman after the Battle of Khaybar. The story goes that this woman prepared a meal laced with poison, specifically targeting Muhammad and his companions. While one of his followers died immediately, Muhammad reportedly survived but complained of lingering effects. Some historians argue that the symptoms he experienced before his death align with poisoning. However, others question the credibility of this account, considering it may have been politically motivated to justify actions against Jewish tribes. In addition to poisoning, other theories suggest natural causes like a prolonged fever, infection, or a digestive condition. Ancient medical knowledge was limited, so diagnosing illnesses was often speculative. Some Islamic scholars suggest divine intervention, believing that his death marked the fulfillment of his mission on earth. These interpretations highlight the tension between faith-based and historical analyses. Each theory offers a different lens through which we can view the circumstances of Muhammad's death. The death of Muhammad marked a turning point in Islamic history. Without his leadership, disputes over succession arose, leading to divisions within the Muslim community. These divisions eventually evolved into the Sunni and Shia sects we know today. Understanding the events surrounding his death provides deeper insight into the origins of these sects and the political and social changes that followed. Muhammad's death wasn't just the loss of a religious figure, it was the beginning of a new era in Islam. The poisoning theory has deeper implications beyond just historical curiosity. The alleged involvement of a Jewish woman in this act was later used as justification for various political and social actions against Jewish communities in the Arabian Peninsula. Critics argue that such narratives were possibly exaggerated or modified over time to serve specific agendas. This theory not only shaped the narrative around Muhammad's death but also influenced relations between Muslims and Jews in subsequent generations. Islamic scholars heavily rely on hadith literature, accounts of Muhammad's sayings and actions, to analyze the circumstances surrounding his death. Some hadith explicitly mention the lingering effects of poison, while others describe his illness as a natural occurrence. The authenticity of these hadiths varies, and their interpretations often depend on the scholar or sect in question, adding another layer of complexity to this debate. Even within Islam, there is disagreement about how Muhammad died. Sunni and Shia Muslims sometimes interpret historical events differently, including the circumstances of Muhammad's passing. These differing views are not just academic but also have implications for how each sect understands leadership, divine intervention, and historical justice. This internal division highlights how religion and history often intertwine in complex ways. Modern medical professionals have revisited historical accounts of Muhammad's symptoms, speculating about potential diagnoses. Some suggest that he may have suffered from sepsis, a severe infection that matches his reported symptoms. Others point to conditions like appendicitis or gastroenteritis. While medical hindsight offers plausible explanations, the lack of concrete evidence makes definitive conclusions impossible. Accounts of Muhammad's last words provide a window into his state of mind during his final moments. According to some reports, he expressed concern for his followers and emphasized unity and faith. His final words have been interpreted as a spiritual message, a call for solidarity, or even a political statement. These interpretations vary widely depending on the source and the perspective of the interpreter. Muhammad's death created a leadership vacuum in the Muslim community. With no clear successor, disagreements arose over who should lead. This led to the election of Abu Bakr as the first caliph, though not without controversy. The resulting divide between those who supported Abu Bakr and those who believed Ali, Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law, should lead became the foundation for the Sunni-Shia split. Sunnis generally view Muhammad's death as a natural occurrence and emphasize his humanity. They believe that his mission as a prophet was completed, and his death was in line with the natural order of life and death. This perspective often avoids delving too deeply into the poisoning theory, focusing instead on the lessons from his life and teachings. Shia Muslims often highlight the political and familial implications of Muhammad's death, particularly regarding succession. While many Shia sources also acknowledge the poisoning theory, they place significant emphasis on the injustices that followed his death, including the treatment of his family. This perspective ties Muhammad's death to broader themes of betrayal and oppression. Muhammad's death was a devastating event for the early Muslim community. Many struggled to believe that their leader, who was also a spiritual figure, had passed away. This emotional shock is reflected in accounts of companions like Umar, who initially refused to accept Muhammad's death. The event tested the faith and unity of the community at a critical juncture. One of the key arguments for the poisoning theory is the idea that Muhammad's symptoms lasted for years after the alleged poisoning incident at Khaybar. Critics of this theory argue that surviving such a long period after poisoning would be unusual. This has led some to question the validity of the narrative altogether, suggesting it may have been a later addition to Islamic tradition. It's important to acknowledge that much of what we know about Muhammad's death comes from Islamic sources written decades or even centuries after the events. These accounts were often influenced by political, religious, and cultural factors. As a result, separating historical fact from interpretation is a significant challenge for historians. Some Islamic narratives suggest that Muhammad predicted his own death, viewing it as a fulfillment of divine will. These accounts emphasize his role as a prophet whose life and death were guided by God. This perspective adds a spiritual dimension to the discussion, framing his passing as part of a larger, divine plan. The circumstances of Muhammad's death, regardless of the cause, offer lessons about leadership, faith, and resilience. His passing tested the strength of the Muslim community, and their ability to navigate this crisis laid the groundwork for Islam's survival and expansion. It's a powerful reminder of how adversity can shape the course of history. Muhammad's death has often been compared to the passing of other religious and political leaders. Like Julius Caesar, whose death led to the rise of the Roman Empire, or Jesus Christ, whose crucifixion became central to Christianity, Muhammad's passing marked a transformative moment in history. These parallels highlight the universal themes of loss and legacy. The question of who or what caused Muhammad's death is unlikely to ever have a definitive answer. As new interpretations and analyses emerge, the debate will continue to evolve. What's clear is that the mystery surrounding his death keeps the conversation about his life and impact alive, ensuring his legacy remains a topic of discussion for generations to come. Contemporary Islamic scholars continue to analyze Muhammad's death, offering both traditional and modern interpretations. Some scholars argue for a more symbolic understanding of the poisoning theory, suggesting it reflects the challenges faced by the prophet during his mission. Others focus on reconciling the historical accounts with modern medical knowledge, seeking a balance between faith and science. These scholarly efforts aim to deepen the understanding of Muhammad's life and death while respecting the sensitivities of believers. Studying the circumstances of Muhammad's death underscores the importance of critical thinking when exploring religious history. It invites us to question sources, examine motivations, and consider biases. This approach not only provides a richer understanding of historical events but also fosters dialogue between believers and non-believers, promoting mutual respect and learning. The poisoning theory introduces a compelling character, the Jewish woman who allegedly poisoned Muhammad. Her motivations, whether personal revenge or political resistance, remain speculative. This narrative brings attention to the role of women in historical conflicts, often overlooked in traditional accounts. It's a reminder that women, too, have shaped the course of history, sometimes in unexpected ways. Muhammad's death isn't the only historical event shrouded in mystery. Many cultures have similar debates about the deaths of influential figures. For instance, the assassination of Julius Caesar or the unclear circumstances surrounding Alexander the Great's death. Comparing these narratives highlights universal human tendencies to mythologize and debate the lives of significant leaders. In Islamic theology, Muhammad's death is often seen as a reminder of human mortality and the transient nature of life. His passing marked the end of divine revelation, emphasizing the importance of the Quran as the ultimate guide for Muslims. This theological perspective reinforces the spiritual significance of his life and legacy, transcending the specifics of how he died. Despite the challenges that followed Muhammad's death, his teachings continued to spread rapidly across the Arabian Peninsula and beyond. The unity and resilience of his followers ensured the survival and growth of Islam. This period of expansion, despite internal divisions, demonstrates the strength of the foundation Muhammad established during his lifetime. Western historians have often approached Muhammad's death with a mix of fascination and skepticism. Some have focused on the poisoning theory, sometimes exaggerating it to fit Orientalist narratives. Others have dismissed religious accounts altogether, favoring naturalistic explanations. Recognizing these biases helps create a more balanced and nuanced understanding of Muhammad's life and death. The events surrounding Muhammad's death offer valuable lessons for modern leaders. His emphasis on unity, compassion, and faith amidst challenges provides a timeless blueprint for leadership. Additionally, the disputes over succession highlight the importance of clear communication and planning in governance, lessons that resonate even today. The location of Muhammad's burial also became a subject of contention. Buried in the chamber of his wife Aisha in Medina, his burial site has remained a sacred location for Muslims. However, disputes about whether he should have been buried in Mecca or Medina reflect the broader tensions within the early Muslim community and their struggle to reconcile political and spiritual priorities. The story of Muhammad's death has been preserved primarily through oral traditions, which were later written down in Islamic texts. While oral traditions are rich in detail and cultural significance, they are also subject to embellishment and reinterpretation over time. This makes it crucial to analyze these accounts critically while appreciating their historical value. In today's digital age, misinformation about Muhammad's death is widespread, often fueled by political or ideological motives. It's essential to approach such claims with skepticism and rely on credible sources. Encouraging critical thinking and fact-checking can help combat the spread of false narratives and promote informed discussions about this topic. The debate over Muhammad's death isn't just a historical curiosity, it's deeply relevant to understanding Islam's origins and its influence on global history. For Muslims, it's a reflection of their faith and heritage. For non-Muslims, it's an opportunity to learn about a pivotal moment in history and its impact on the world. Historians and scholars often face the challenge of reconciling conflicting accounts of Muhammad's death. By comparing primary sources, analyzing the reliability of narrators, and considering the socio-political context of the time, they aim to piece together a coherent narrative. This meticulous approach underscores the complexity of studying historical figures. The debate over Muhammad's death also reflects broader tensions between faith-based and historical perspectives. While believers may view his death as a divine event, historians focus on tangible evidence and context. Bridging this gap requires mutual respect and an appreciation for the richness of both perspectives. 35. What can we learn from historical debates? The discussions about Muhammad's death remind us of the importance of historical inquiry. They show how history is shaped not only by facts but also by interpretations, biases, and cultural narratives. These debates encourage us to think critically and engage with history in a meaningful way. Regardless of how he died, Muhammad's legacy remains one of the most influential in history. His teachings continue to guide over 1 billion people worldwide, and his impact on religion, culture, and politics is undeniable. Understanding his death is just one part of appreciating his life and contributions. Muhammad's illness leading up to his death has been documented in Islamic sources as a deeply emotional time for his followers. His declining health highlighted his humanity and reinforced the belief that even prophets are mortal. This period also allowed Muhammad to impart final advice to his companions, emphasizing the importance of unity and adherence to Islamic principles. His illness became a moment of reflection for his community, marking the end of an era. The leadership crisis following Muhammad's death is not unique to Islam. Similar transitions can be seen in Christianity after the crucifixion of Jesus or in Judaism following the death of Moses. Each instance resulted in significant debates and divisions among followers. These parallels provide a broader perspective on how religions navigate the loss of a central figure. While much focus is placed on the political implications of Muhammad's death, it's important to remember the personal loss felt by his family. His wives, children, and close relatives bore the emotional weight of his passing. Accounts of his daughter Fatima grieving deeply highlight the human aspect of this event, often overlooked in historical analyses. One of the most enduring debates in Islamic history is whether Muhammad could have done more to clarify the issue of succession before his death. Some believe he intended for Ali to lead, while others argue that he left the decision to the community. This ambiguity led to centuries of division and conflict, illustrating how critical leadership planning is in any organization. The poisoning theory, while widely discussed, has evolved significantly over time. Early Islamic sources provide varying accounts of the incident, with some detailing a direct act of revenge by a Jewish woman and others downplaying the event. The evolution of this narrative reflects how historical stories are shaped by the context in which they are told. Non-Muslim historical sources from the time provide an external perspective on Muhammad's life and death. While often less detailed than Islamic accounts, they offer valuable context and sometimes challenge traditional narratives. These sources are essential for building a more comprehensive understanding of this complex topic. The events following Muhammad's death significantly influenced Islamic jurisprudence, Sharia. Issues like succession, governance, and community disputes required new legal and ethical frameworks. The decisions made during this time laid the foundation for Islamic legal traditions that continue to guide Muslims today. Like many significant historical events, Muhammad's death has become a target for conspiracy theories. Some suggest political motives or hidden plots, often with little evidence to support such claims. These theories can overshadow legitimate historical inquiry and create unnecessary divisions. It's crucial to approach these claims with a critical and informed mindset. Despite the challenges following his death, Muhammad's teachings remained a unifying force for his followers. The Quran, considered the literal word of God by Muslims, became the central text guiding their lives. His sayings and actions, recorded in hadith, also provided practical guidance for everyday life. This enduring legacy ensured that his influence continued to grow even after his passing. For many Muslims, faith plays a central role in understanding Muhammad's death. Belief in divine will and the spiritual significance of his passing often takes precedence over historical debates. This perspective highlights the unique interplay between faith and history in religious traditions. 47. The challenges of translating early texts. Much of what we know about Muhammad's death comes from texts written in Arabic centuries ago. Translating these texts into other languages introduces challenges, as nuances and cultural contexts can be lost. This has sometimes led to differing interpretations and misunderstandings, complicating the study of his life and death.
Welcome to Blessovia Science TV, where we take you on an exhilarating journey through the cosmos and unravel the mysteries of science. We are excited to offer you the opportunity to become a valued member of our ever-growing community of cosmic enthusiasts and knowledge seekers. Exclusive access to cosmic content. As a member of Blessovia Science TV, you will gain exclusive access to a treasure trove of cosmic content, including documentaries, interviews with leading scientists, space missions updates, and awe-inspiring visualizations of the universe, live Q, and sessions with experts. Your membership will grant you the chance to participate in live Q and sessions with renowned scientists, astronomers, and space explorers. Get your burning questions answered by those who push the boundaries of human knowledge. Embark on a journey that spans the cosmos and join us in unraveling the secrets of the universe. Become a Blessovia Science TV member today, and together we will reach for the stars. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and share. Don't forget to leave your comment.